Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Chaitanyam Sarvagam Sarvam Sarvabhuta Guhashayam Yat Sarva Vishayatitam Tasmai Sarvavide Namaha. Verse 15. Natato mritatata shaste karmano jnana hetutah mokshasya jnana hetutvat natadanyadapekshate. न ततः अमृतता आशास्ति कर्मणः अज्ञान हेतुतः कर्मणः. अज्ञान हेतुत्वात् अविवेकपूर्वकत्वात् कर्मणः इत्यर्थः. Because Ajna is hetu, and here Ajnana also translates as aviveka, meaning Atmanatma aviveka, Atma buddhi in an Atma, so Kartrutva, Bhoktrutva, this is the product of aviveka. So Tat Purvakatvat Karmana. An action is preceded by Kartrutva buddhi, a sense of doership, which presupposes aviveka. अनात्मनि आत्मबुद्धि देहलिंगात्मना कार्या वासनारूपिणा क्रियाः कार्याः देहलिंगात्मना. One with identification deha and linga, gross body and subtle body. Kriyaha karyaha, that one alone can perform the actions. That is the one in whom there will be sense of kartrutva and bhoktrutva. So bhoktrutva will prompt kartrutva and kartrutva will create bhoktrutva. That's called the vasana. Vasana rupina. So this kartrutva, bhoktrutva, vasanas are there. Bhoktrutva is first looks like, because Anandamaya Kosha is a bhokta, the need for bhoga or need for happiness is what prompts the buddhi to perform karma. So bhoktrutva, the need for happiness, brings about karma or kartrutva, which brings about bhoktrutva. So karma pravritti nimittena avicchinnena. So this is the avichinna, unbroken parampara of kartrutva, bhoktrutva, vasana rupina. So one who possesses this vasana, meaning one is controlled by these notions, for that person alone, karma is possible. So in that sense it is said, ajnana hetutaha. That's so ajnana, through aviveka, through kartrutva, bhoktrutva, through karma, so becomes the cause for karma. And karma kim param, karma tajjadam. Karma is jada, unconscious. Says jadayoho ajnana karmanoho virodha abhavad. Ajnana, of course, is of the nature of darkness, unconsciousness. And karma is a product of ajnana, a remote product. But product of ajnana, therefore also darkness. So darkness cannot remove darkness. Jadayoho ajnana karmanoho virodha abhavad. Karma itself being dark cannot remove the ignorance of the nature of darkness. Na jnana nivritti rupe mokshe karmanasha karya. So one cannot hope to achieve moksha through karma. Through ignorance, one cannot hope to remove ignorance. Then the Tikakar continues, Brahmatmana avasthana rupasya cha paramananda avirbhava lakshanasya mokshasya. If moksha is looked upon as paramananda avirbhava, the manifestation of Paramananda, how does that happen? Brahmatmana avasthana rupasya. Avoidance says Brahmatma. Avoidance says the Brahman is the Atma, or Atma is Brahma. When Atma reveals itself as Brahma, or you can say Brahman reveals itself as Atma. When that happens, that's called avoidance. In avoidance, no effort is involved. So the one who avoids in this knowledge, for that wise person, the Atma manifests as Brahma. Or you can say Brahma manifests as Atma. Satyam Jnana Anandam Brahma, Vijnanam Anandam Brahma. And Brahma is limitless, Ananda, therefore Paramananda Avirbhava Lakshanasya. So Paramananda, which is the nature of the self, Avirbhava, that becomes evident, becomes manifest. So that is called moksha, where Paramananda manifests itself. Paramananda becomes a reality for this wise person. Paramananda itself reveals itself. Because there are no pratibandhakas, obstacles in the manifestation of Paramananda. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. So Lord Krishna identifies kama as the pratibandhaka, obstacle to the manifestation of Atmaneva, Atmanatushta, the Atma Santosha or Paramananda. The manifestation of that is obstructed by karma. When that is not there, karma means ignorance. So if you understand moksha as nirideshaya sukha avaptihi, nirideshaya ananda avaptihi, or paramananda avirbhava, then that is the outcome. Chaturvida kriya phala virakshanatvat. This Paramananda Avirbhava, manifestation of Paramananda, is not the result of karma. Cannot be. It's already there, which manifests on its own. Karma brings to manifestation what is not manifest. Utpatti. So creation of what is not there. And then Vikruti, Samskruti, etc. In short, karma is a means of accomplishing what is not accomplished. Here, Paramananda Avirbhava, manifestation of what is. So karma cannot be the means of, because achieving what is already achieved. So Chaturvida Kriya Phala Lakshanatvat. That Lakshanatvat. So therefore, moksha is vilakshana, quite contrary in nature to the karma phala. Moksha cannot be karma phalam, cannot be result of action, because action can create what is not there, can bring about a change, can purify, can create a movement from one place to the other. None of this is called for recognizing what is understood. It is recognition of what is. You can say, yes, ignorance is the obstacle, but karma is not opposed to ignorance, therefore karma cannot remove ignorance. So you may say that the moksha feels as though it is unaccomplished, because its manifestation is obstructed by ignorance. But since karma is not opposed to ignorance, karma cannot do that. So jnanam alone can do that. Light alone can dispel darkness. Na tatrapi karma apeksha. So as far as the removal of ignorance is concerned, karma cannot be the means. As far as manifest ananda is concerned, there also karma cannot be the means. Alright. So na tatah amrutata asha asti karmana ajnana hetutah. Then the Tikakara says, you can ask a question or raise a question. Karmana swataha moksha hetutva abhavepi. All that karma on its own cannot be the means of moksha. Moksha hetu jnana sahayataya. We accept that jnana is the moksha hetu. Jnana is the means of moksha to manifest what is. So karma is not the means of moksha, jnana is the means of moksha, we accept, but moksha hetu jnana sahayataya. Karma can in some way becomes the jnana sahaya, can coexist with and help the knowledge to accomplish its purpose. Knowledge, of course, is required to accomplish the purpose of removal of ignorance, but karma can become sahaya bhutam, can become helpful. Why not? Tad dhetur bhavishyati. If karma is not directly the means of moksha, jnana is directly the means of moksha. Karma by way of strengthening the jnana, enabling the jnana to perform its or carry out its function. Jnana will carry out the function of removal of ignorance and bring about moksha. But karma can enable the jnana. So that way, karma can indirectly become the means of moksha. That jnana can, but not by itself, only with the sahaya or help of karma, can jnana accomplish its purpose or remove jnana. Why not that way? Tad hetur bhavishyati. That way karma can become the moksha hetu. Ida ashankya. Ajnana nivattau jnana matra samarthatvad. Says no, that cannot be. Ajnana nivattau jnana matra samarthatvad. Just as for removal of darkness, only light is capable of doing that. Nothing other than light can remove darkness. And only light means light does not require anything other than itself to remove darkness. Only light can mean both. All you need is light alone to dispel darkness. And secondly, light does not require the aid of anything else to remove darkness. Unaided. Only light and unaided light removes darkness. So only knowledge and unaided knowledge alone can remove ignorance. So, jnana matras ajnana nivattau jnana matrasya samarthatvat. Only jnanam and jnanam alone is samartham, is capable, competent to remove ignorance. Tatra na tatra karma sahayata apekshate. Therefore, in removal of ignorance also jnanam does not require sahaya or help. So there also karma has no role. Karma on its own cannot remove ignorance, or karma on its own cannot bring to manifestation ananda that already is, nor can karma become the aid to jnanam to remove ignorance. Just as light does not require any aid to remove darkness. Na tatra karma sahayata apekshate. Mokshasya jnana hetutvat na tadanyat apekshate. So says Tika napi itaratra tasya svata siddhatvad abhiparite mokshasya jnana hetutvat na tadanyat apekshate. If anya is interpreted as Paramananda Avirbhava, then Paramananda Avirbhava also does not call for karma. Because Svata Siddhatva, Paramananda becomes being Svata Siddha also, Svata Siddha does not require karma. So second line says, Mokshasya Jnana hetutvat tadat anyat apekshate. Therefore, there also the karma has no apeksha. Itaratra. In terms of the Paramananda Avirbhava also, karma na apekshate svata siddhatvat, because Paramananda is svata siddha. यदि कर्म साध्यम अमृतत्वम स्यात्. Now Siddhanta is asking, if amrutatvam, immortality, paramananda, moksha, karma sadhyam syat, if moksha was karma sadhya, that which takes place because of karma, that is brought about by karma. Tari svargadivat krushyadi phalavatcha anityam sabhayam cha syat. Svargadivat anityam syat. Then svarga is karma sadhyam and anityam. Yat krutakam tad anityam. So that which is krutakam, karma sadhyam, is anityam. Such as svarga. Krushyadi phalavaccha. Like the krushyadi, Like the crop which is a result of farming or agriculture. Always the fear is that what will happen to that? There is uncertainty about the outcome of the farming or agriculture. Because so many unknown factors are there which can ruin the outcome. Therefore, as far as the harvest is concerned, the farm is always uncertain at the last moment. There can be himavarsha, snowfall. There can be also insects coming and attacking. Unseasonal rain, anything can happen to damage that crop. So, karma phalam is number one, anityam as well as sabhayam, accompanied with fear. So, similarly, moksha also was karma phala, as the opponent claims that moksha also will become anityam, anitya and anitya sabhaya. Let it be. Tatcha anishtam, but that's not desirable. That's not right. Why? Abhayam pratistham vindate. Taittiriya Upanishad describes moksha as the wise person. Abhayam pratistham vindate. The wise person vindate attains abhayam pratistham, abidance in fearlessness. Meaning fearlessness is the result of or is the characteristic of moksha. One of the lakshana or characteristic of moksha is abhayam. So if moksha were karma phala, it will be sabhayam, it will be accompanied with bhaya. And that would contradict what the Upanishad says with reference to the nature of moksha. So for moksha to be abhayam, it cannot be karma phala. For moksha to be nitya, it cannot be karma phala. For moksha to be abhaya or nirbhayata, it cannot be karma phala. Iti abhaya rupatva shruti virodhat. So if moksha is karma phala, it will become sabhayam, in which case it will contradict this shruti which says moksha means nirbhayata. Ata anyat artam, Bhradanyaka Upanishad says, Ata anyat artam, Chandogya Sai says, anyat artam, yeah, alpam. Chandogya says alpam, and Bhradanyaka says artam. So, that is where in the Maitri Brahmana, Ata anyat artam iti moksha rupatvat anyasya artatvoktya. So only moksha swarupam is nityam. Everything else is artam, anityam, mortal. Only moksha is amritam, immortal. Everything else is mortal, anityam, impermanent. Therefore, karma phala, anything that is the result of karma is artam, is mortal. If moksha also a karma phala would have been mortal. Iti moksha swarupat anyasya artatvoktya tasya anartatva parivasana vachana virodhat. By saying that anything other than moksha is artha, mortal, which means moksha is anartha or immortal. Tata anyat artam, anything other than atma is artha, other atma is mortal, and moksha is abundance in atma. Anything other than moksha also is mortal. So why saying everything is mortal, moksha is declared as immortal. So tasya anartatva parivasana vachana virodhacha. By saying that tata anyat atam, everything other than that is mortal, it amounts to saying that moksha is immortal. So that way also moksha cannot be karma phala. Idhi viparityaha. With that in mind, the next verse says, Amrutam cha bhayam nartam netityatma priyo mama viparitamato nyadyata tyaje tat sakriyam tataha. Amrutam cha abhayam na atam. Amrutam cha शब्द तो अर्थ है. However, amrutam cha abhayam, amrutam to abhayam, but then amrutam, immortality, which is the moksha, abhayam. Abhayam is fearlessness, na artam, not limited, not mortal, not fearful. So that comes from the Shruti. All right. So Brahma is abhayam, na artam, amrutam. Then the Tika says, Yadyapi Brahma Swarupam Amrutatvam Uktalakshanam Akama Sadhyam. Yadyapi Brahma Swarupam, even though the Swarupa which is Brahma, Amrutatvam is immortal, Uktalakshanam, Amrutam, Abhayam, na Artam. So we accept that Brahman is, this is a description of Brahma. When Upanishad says that Anyat Artam, Brahma is Anartam, that it is the description of Brahma. Tathapi Jiva Anyaha. But what about Jiva? Purvapaksha. Jiva is different from Brahma. So Brahma is immortal, not Jiva. Tat karmana eva labhetayati. Tat amrutatvam jiva karmana eva labheta. Since Jiva is different from Brahman, Brahman is immortal, Jiva is different from Brahma, so Jiva is different from immortal. Therefore, Jiva has to attain immortality. Because he is mortal, he has to become immortal. That can be accomplished only through karma. Tat karmana eva labheta jiva. Jivatma would labheta attain tat amrutatvam karmana eva, the immortality only through karma. Iti ashankya. The point is that the statement that you made, Amrutam Abhayam, that all statement about Brahma. Chandogya also says the same thing. Tad Amrutam Abhayam, Tad Brahma. But nobody said that Jiva is Amruta, Abhaya, etc. So Jiva is different. However, Jiva has to become immortal, has to become fearless. For that he requires karma. Ityashankya. Jivasya brahmana anyatva bhavat is no. Jiva is not anya, not different from Brahma. Mayavam, therefore, even for Jiva also, Amrutatva is already achieved, not to be achieved because Jiva is not different from Brahma. Jiva is identical to Brahma. So the verse says, Nedityatma priyo mama, Nedityatma priyo mama. Because Atmanastu kamaya saram priyam bhavati. Edat putrat priyah, vittat priyah, nisnat sarasmat priyah. Atma is declared as Putrat Priya, dearer than a son. Vittat Priya, dearer than the wealth, dearer than the body, dearer than anything else. Because it is the innermost. So even though my son is close to me, not as close as my wealth is close to me, not as close as my son. Son is close to me, not as close as my body. Body is close to me, not as close as myself. That being the case, यह प्रियः जायादि प्रीत्यास्पदतया विभाव्यते. So नवारे जायायि कामाय जाया प्रिया भवति. आत्मस्तु कामाय जाया प्रिया भवति. हे मैत्रेयी, wife is not dear for the sake of wife. It is for the sake of Atma that wife is dear. So Jayadi Prityasprataya. So when Jaya is Priya, when wife is dear, who is dear? Atma is dear. Understand? Atmanastu Kamaya Jaya Priya Bhavati. It is for the sake of Atma that Jaya or wife is dear. So, in something that is dear like Jaya, what manifests is Atma. So, when you say that Jaya is Priya, so Priyo Jayadi Prityasprataya Vibhavyate Yah. Whatever it is, Vibhavyate that shines or is experienced, Prityasprataya Jayadi Prityaspadaya Vibhavyate Jayadi. Anything like wife, which is experienced as dear. Saha Mamatma Sarvabhutaha. You are not experiencing Jaya, you are experiencing your own self. So whenever someone dear such as Jaya, he is experienced, understand that you are experiencing your own self. It is important. So Atmanastu Kamaya Jaya Priya Bhavati. Jaya is dear for the sake of Atma, and that is Atma in the form of Jaya that is being experienced by you. That's a very, very profound statement. So, Mahasa Mama Atma Netityatma Priyo Mama. Mama Atma Priya. You say, Atmanastu Kamaya Saram Priyam Bhavati. Whatever is dear for the sake of the self, which means that whatever is dear is nothing but my own self. That's what it amounts to saying. So Jaya Dehi, someone such as wife, who is the source of happiness. There you are experiencing not the wife, you are experiencing your own self. Sa mama atma sarubhutaha. My own inherent nature, the self is being experienced so that the ananda in the wife is none other than my own self. So where did you get that? Brahma is of the nature of ananda. Where did you get atma is ananda rupa? Anena jivena atmana anupravishya ityadi shrutehe. The pravesha shruti is meant for this. That Brahma enters here as Atma. Anena jivena atmana. The story about Sat. Sa devata aikshata. That devata sankalp, that did the resolved. Anena atmana. Anena jivena atmana anupavishya. That may enter this upadhi as a jivatma. Who did say that? Sat or Brahma. So Brahma that says that may I enter this upadhi as a very Atma, that statement clearly shows that Brahma is Atma. So when you experience Jayadihi, which is dear, you are experiencing Atma or Brahma as Atma because Brahma alone is entered as Atma. So when you experience Atma, you are experiencing Brahma. What's the nature of that Atma? That Atma's nature is also revealed by the Upanishad. Neti iti Atma. Atma is described as, or it is unfolded as Neti. Neti means Neti Neti. Such a Neti iti apod ashesha vishesha. So when it is not this, not this, what is meant to be negated is whatever can be negated. Whatever can be objectified, which is what? Vishesha or attribute. Attribute, of course, becomes the object of experience. So in Neti Neti, what is negated is all the Vishesha or attributes. An attribute is the result of Adhyas superimposition. So what is intended to be negated is superimposition. Ignorance is intended negated really. How do you remove ignorance? Ignorance is removed by rejecting, letting go the notions born of ignorance. All the Visheshata or attributes, they all reside in the Upadhi. Because of ignorance, those attributes are thought to be attributes belonging to Atma. Therefore, the Upanishad negates those attributes in Atma. Understand? Not the attributes are not there. Asthulam, Ananu, Ahrasam, Sthulata is there, Anuva is there, Hrasva, Dirga is all there someplace. But not in Atma. So, Apodha, Apa and Vaha is the past participle. Apavah means to remove. So, Apodha from which Ashesha, Vishesha. Apodha Ashesha Vishesha Yasmat, the one from whom all the Visheshas or attributes have been negated, removed, eliminated, negated. So therefore that Neti means Atma. Iti madrupatvat. So the one that has entered this Upadhi alone is taught as Neti, as my own self. Na tasya karma prapyam amrutatvam. Therefore, the amrutatvam also is already the nature of Jiva, myself. Therefore, for me also, Jivatma also, amrutam is na karma prapyam, is not something to be attained by karma. Because madrupatvat, it is my rupa, is my swarupa, my own nature. And the fire doesn't have to attain heat by karma, just to recognize that I am hot. In case fire is a problem by which it starts thinking I am cold, it's ridiculous. But then fire, suppose starts saying I am cold. Water starts saying I am hot. Water can say that. Then that you are not hot, that's all that is to be negated, which is the incidental. All the Vishesha or attributes are incidental in the self and they are negated. Inherent cannot be negated. न तस्य कर्म प्राप्यम अमृतत्वम इत्यर्थः. तस्य आत्मा है जीवस्य, for the jiva also amrutatvam is not karma prapyam. Immortality is not attained by karma. Second line is viparitam atah anyat yat tatyajed sakriyam tatah. So second line says Tataha, therefore. Tata means what? So Ataha, Ataha Anyat. So that is Ataha is different. Uktat. That Ataha is Uktat Atma Swarupa Ataha Anyat. Other than this, Ataha means other than this. Ataha Anyat. That other than this. What is it? Now, this means this is the pronoun. It refers to something that is already mentioned. What is mentioned? Uktat Atma Swabhavadanyata. The Atma Swabhava is already stated earlier as Brahma, as Amrutam, as Abhayam. Yet Anyat Bhaved. So whatever is other than that, Buddhya, Grihyamanam, Vipritam, Drishyam, Anatma Bhutam. Whatever is different from Atma, other than Atma. And then Bheda Buddhya Grihyamanam. Anything that is taken as separate from oneself. Viparitam, Drishyam, Anatma Bhutam. So whatever is Anyat, other than this, Viparitam, Vilakshanam, of a different nature, Anatma Bhutam, altogether different from Atma, non-self. So Atma is my own self, which is who is of the nature of immortality, which is already attained, can only be attained by knowledge and not by karma. Therefore, karma should be given up. Because karma has no scope as far as knowledge is concerned. This we discussed earlier. Therefore, any knowledge or cognition has to take place. The karma has to stop at that time. For me to perceive this flower, smell it, see it, experience it in any way, at that time there is no sankalpa, no will involved that this should be what it should be. When all the will is dropped, then I am ready to appreciate this object as it is. So for knowledge, the will must be dropped. And karma is all product of will. Therefore, karma should be dropped. Karma, Purusha Tantram. Karma depends upon the will of the person. So for giving up karma, one should give up the will. Will to do anything. Tat kriya saidam tyajed. And that will arises from abhimanam or identification with anatma. So therefore say, whatever is dushyam anatma bhutam, upadhi, tat kriya saidam tyajed. All upadhi must be given up along with the kriya. Tad abhimanam parityajed. Therefore, may one give up the abhimanam, the idea of the kartritva, bhoktritva, the individuality arising from identification. So in neti neti, not only there is the negation of karma, of course, but there is negation of abhimanam or sense identity. And without an identity, there cannot be sankalpa or will, and without that, there cannot be karma. So first is ignorance. Then there is aviveka. From there, identity with the identification with the upadhi. From that, identity about the self. From that, the desire and the will to do things. From that, the karma. So what is to be ultimately given up is identification with upadhi. In neti neti, what is being negated is the visheshana of the Atma, but the visheshana of the Atma that is attributed to Atma because of identification with Anatma. There cannot be Visheshanam in Atma. But one sees Visheshanam in Atma by transferring the Visheshana that belongs to an Atma, transferring, superimposing upon the Atma. So Visheshana Atma is to be negated, understand? Kriya Sahitam. Therefore, that negation involves seeing and not a Kriya. Neti neti is not Kriya, neti neti is Jnanam, is seeing. Therefore, Kriya Sahitam te Abhimanam Parityajet. The identification, the identity, the notion of the self, along with the Kriya, should be given up. Or Kriya along with the notion of self should be given up. Tyajet tat sakriyam yatah. But here is a tat tasmat karanat. It should be tatah tasmat karanat. The last word is tatah. Tat tyajet kriya sahitam anatma bhutam tyajet. That is what that tat meant. Tatah, therefore, tatah tasmat karanat tyat sakriyam tyajet sakriyam kriya sahitam tyajet. Tatah karanat. For that reason, because moksha is not the result of karma, karma phala always involves the anityatvam and sabhayatvam. Not only that, but not only Brahman is nirbhayam or nityam or amrutam, it is the nature of the self. And therefore the bhaya, anityata, the mortality about the self are all the result of the identification and sense of identity. So that is what is intended to be given up by neti neti. And that can be given up when karma also is given up. That is not karma. It is jnanam. For that to take place, karma should be given up. Tatah tasmat karanati upasamharartha. So last word of the verse tatah is for concluding. Tasmat karanat tyajet. So tyajet. Now that is the vidhi vakya vidhi. Nachayam atmajnasya vidhi. This tyajet is not being told to a wise person. Tasya aviniyojyatvat. The one who wants to become wise is being told, not the wise is being told to give up, because he already given up. Therefore, since wise person has already given up or already has left him, let us say, therefore he is not available to give up anything and not available to do anything. When kartrutva is given up, wise person is not available for any injunction. So tyajet does not apply to wise person. Tasya aviniyojyatvat tam prati anuvada matram. So this simply describes what a wise person is. And so neva kinchit karomi yukto manyeta tattvavit. Tatvit manyeta. He should see, no. Manyate, he sees. The adhikari or the aspirant should see. The wise person sees. So there's a tyajeta or tyajate. In this case, wise person gives up. For one who wants to become wise, tyajate, he should give up karma. So tam prati anuvada matram. Anuvada, this describes what the wise person already is. Sadhakasya puna upayojyate. But this vidhi is quite upayojyate. Upayogi is useful and required for sadhaka, for an aspirant. Upayojyate niyoga iti. Call it niyoga, call it vidhi, call it injunction is applicable as far as the sadhaka or aspirant is concerned. Iti, with that, vidhi pratyaya nirdeshayi drashtavyam. That vidhi pratyaya tyajet is used deliberately to show that it's anuvada for a wise person and an instruction, injunction for an aspirant. Iti ekadasham ikshitritva prakaranam. Because the first verse began with the word ikshitra. That's all. Yes, there is no other way of there is no formal way of nomenclature, informal. So that's how the 11th chapter is complete. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.